Alright, let's talk about how manifestations actually unfold in our lives. And this video is a continuation of the topic I started in this video on how to be a deliberate creator. Once you have achieved this feeling of the wishes fulfilled, once you have achieved being in the state of having your desire, and you've already invested deliberate focus into the materialization of your manifestation, you could, would, and totally should now expect to encounter some form of bridge of incidences, how Neville Goddard is calling it, in which the materialization of that what you want is coming together. Now, while we are on our human attributes used to facing gestation periods, the gap in between who you are now and who you want to be in order to have that what you want, it is important to understand from a conscious creator, I am consciousness, I have a human body, I am God or Matilda, whatever you want to call it, that has a human body aspect. There is no actual need for a buffer time in between that what you are and that what you want to be. So in more simpler terms, we are used for things needing to take time, but from a broader perspective, there is not even such thing as time. So technically, it is possible for things to just materialize out of thin air. But practically speaking, this hardly ever happens, and we need to understand why and how we are working with this. Now, if we want to take the consciousness aspect, creator aspect of our nature above and beyond, we could say, we could assume that the gestation period for certain things like the creation of a child or like the growth from a seed into a tree only exists because we have been perceiving it to exist. There are a lot of things that we have collectively agreed upon based on our observation, and it has somewhat become a condition of our life within these bodies and on this planet. That does not mean, however, that it's not possible to manifest something in quicker or even instantly. The problem is, though, the thing that keeps us from doing it constantly like this and this and this and this. It's our logic. The human nature is kind of the buffer between having achieved our wish-fulfilled emotions plus focus and the actual materialization of that. And for that we have, again, the collective mind and experience that comes into account. And we also have the individual person-by-person experience that goes into account. This is why some people are able to manifest huge amounts of money seemingly out of nowhere, while other people need to walk down a path in which that end game desire unfolds step by step by step. Does that make sense to you so far? If it's confusing, do drop a question in the comment section and I will bring clarity to you. I know this is a lot to digest, this is a lot to take in, and it does take a little bit of mental tweaking to fully grasp what I'm talking about. Now, often when humans desperately want something, they refuse to face this gestation period. Sometimes they try to make amends with it, sometimes they try to accept it, but then they usually fall into a waiting period where they try to soothe their tension and discord internally by calling themselves patient. There is no need to be patient. Patience is not a virtue of a conscious creator. It is a virtue of an NPC who does things on autopilot and manifests by default. So usually when a human finds themselves in the situation of I'm waiting around, I'm trying to be patient, I'm trying to soothe myself, I'm trying to just hold back and accept everything, they actually struggle intensely internally with the not having it just yet. Therefore, they not only instantly lose alignment with the feeling fulfilled, with the vibrational frequency or however you want to call it, that is necessary in order to even call in that internal creation. They also, on top of everything, start being pissed at and mad at the unfolding process. And by that, they shift their internal focus onto everything that takes just too long and that's annoying and oh my god, do I need to do this again? When will it finally be my turn? Maybe I can use a guided meditation that puts me on the threshold to quantum leaping into the future that I actually want, and none of these things are usually actually working. These people in these situations, and I know all of you have been there, I know I've been there more often than I care to remember. But these people usually fail to completely see that this human nature, this logic, these individual and also collective memories and experiences that kinda put in this buffer are working in our favor. Imagine how incredibly chaotic and flat out life-threateningly dangerous your life would be if you were to always instantly manifest every thought that you have. Most of us would flat out accidentally kill ourselves just because we have some weird ass thoughts coming in and a weird ass sensation and emotion surrounding that thought. So our human logic that kind of needs to be on board with this entire process is actually in our favor. It gives us the opportunity to evaluate, to really find the best way possible for us, and it allows us the time that we need from the human perspective to actually feel satisfied in our change of self-concept, in our learning new abilities, new skills, in our refinement of our personality. The thing is, we completely fail to acknowledge that everything that we need to be in order to have this or that is already within us. Because in the moment of desiring something that is not yet reality for us, we have massive awareness of all the reasons for why it's not here. Our focus is inevitably on the lack. And then our logic tells us, okay, in order to not see the lack, in order to have these things, let's say have a boatload of money, maybe I need to have a different career because my logical human mind does not allow me to just flat out believe and align myself constantly or dominantly at the very least with the idea of being a millionaire, with the idea of the universe paying me money. It needs to somewhat make sense for me. Where's that money even coming from? Most of the times we feel like we have to give something in order to even be able to receive something. And whenever we do receive something for free out of the blue, we kind of have a tendency to feel a little bit unworthy of it. So that makes it hard for us to actually maintain it, to really sustain a flow of things coming for free for absolutely no reason other than we want it over and over and over again, continuously, reliably. So in order to even be able to realize that these things are within us, our logic needs to be in alignment. We need to logically have an experience in which we conjure up this, what we think we are lacking, in order to realize it within us, and then we can start utilizing it. If you, for instance, struggle with shyness, being insecure, you have a hard time talking to people, and you feel that this is the block in your way that prevents you from seizing all of these opportunities that you may even acknowledge exist, you might be inclined to start affirming, I am confident, I am self-assured, I know who I am. And this is good when it comes to the focus, the deliberate focus. However, you will not ever feel confident just by saying, I am confident. You will not ever just randomly wake up one day feeling more confident than the day before. Instead, what you will do subconsciously is manifest a situation in which your confidence, self-assuredness, and knowledge of who you are get challenged, so that you then can prove to yourself, hold on, I actually am confident. So you get to actually practice your confidence. And by that, you logically understand, I am confident. I just made this happen. I just faced this challenge or went down that pathway, and now I feel like I have grown as a human, as a person. And with that achievement, with that accomplishment, it's gonna be so much easier for you, for your logic, the human self, to truly believe, yo, I have the confidence to do that. I know what I'm capable of doing, so now I can actually align my logic with this feeling fulfilled and the deliberate focus, and I can trust myself in whatever way this unfolds. I will get there. I know I will get there. And this is when your desire stops being a desire or hope or a wish and starts being knowledge. The second you have the knowledge, the second it's internalized within you, yes, I am this person. I have the ability and the capability to do this, to pull this off, to have this, to get this, to maintain and sustain it on the long run. When you have that in check, this is when the magic happens. And you have proof for this because you, in your own personal, unique life, have managed to manifest things that are not that big of a deal for you, logically speaking. In like this, you have accomplished instant manifestations, plenty of them. You may have not yet acknowledged that you are able of doing that. You may not yet have taken the time to reverse engineer the things in your life that have already happened and connect the dots. But every single one of you have evidence for the free cup of coffee manifesting instantly, for the phone call or the text message manifesting instantly. You only struggle with things that currently, from your now perspective, seem to be out of your reach, too far up there in comparison. When I want something that I am not yet used to, when I want something that seems far removed from the life that I'm living right in this moment, I spend time getting used to it. This can happen through visualizations. This can happen through consuming content that is in alignment with the desired outcome. This can happen with me talking positively about it with other people. It can happen through me talking to people who already have accomplished that what I want, collecting some information and data on the subject. And it can also be me just flat out practicing it in real life. The biggest player for this to really run smoothly is my attitude towards the unfolding. I have no idea what my kinda unconscious human aspect logic part has to say about the thing that I want. All I know is that if it's not coming in fast, there is something that goes against it. There is something that is blocking it. Maybe I have a wrong desire. Maybe I want something that is actually not in alignment with my best self. Maybe I want something because society deems this to be desirable, but it's actually not something that would really make me happy in the best possible version. With specific people and exes and relationships, this is often what happens. Maybe I want something, maybe I want to manifest in an apology or want to manifest in a relationship with somebody just for the sake of hearing them proving me right rather than the actual desire of being in a relationship with them. I don't really know until it has happened. I can only perceive that which has already happened with the human mind. Not even really perceive, kind of like just look at, take it in, translate it with my senses in my brain and then evaluate it. But the receiving of the future vision comes from the higher mind, the consciousness, the soul, the Matilda, whatever you want to call it. So I can make peace with that. I can allow myself not really knowing the steps. I can allow myself guessing, making assumptions, testing things out, and even collecting data by failing and then doing it differently and maybe failing again and then doing it a little bit differently and maybe failing again until I have figured out the right path for me. The important thing is really the attitude. Rather than seeing it as failure, I need to see it as progress. Rather than being pissed or butthurt or sad about it not happening instantly, I see it as useful collected data so that I will be able to refine everything in ways where it's satisfying for me. Since we know that we're actually after the fulfillment of emotions and not material things, and we're really just using the material things as means to an end, it is easy for me, and it should be easy for you, it can be easy for you to still appreciate the journey, because you can keep, and quite frankly have to keep, the fulfilled emotion alive within you. So instead of identifying an unfolding that takes a little bit longer than you would like as a reason to feel bad about yourself or feel like a loser or feel like you are undeserving or whatnot, you actually just enjoy the journey. When you like where you are, when you have fully accepted where you are every step along the way, you do not feel like you need to be patient. You do not feel like you're waiting on something. You are just fully, as best as you can, appreciating everything right now and authentically expect your desired outcome to be the next logical step. You know it's gonna happen and you have fun along the journey.